Der Führer der deutschen Jugend hat das Wort.
George Orwell's 1984 is a story of one man's struggle against a brutal totalitarian government known as the Party, and their form of English socialism known as Ingsoc. That man's name is Winston Smith, and his story takes place in Airstrip 1, formerly known as Great Britain, in the nation of Oceania. In the world of 1984, there are three superpowers that control sections of the world and are constantly at war with each other. These nations are Oceania, which consists of Britain, Australasia, Southern Africa, and the Americas, Eurasia, which consists of Russia and Europe, and East Asia, which controls China, Japan, Korea, and northern India. The other areas are the battlefields in which these three powers wage their constant war, where the alliances between the three are ever-changing. Each has their own version of government similar to Oceania's Ingsoc, but other than that, very little is known about them. In the city of London, Winston works for the Ministry of Truth, which is primarily responsible for rewriting history to the party's needs. Its purpose explained best by the quote, "He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past." I'll talk more about the four ministries and how they embody the main motif of the book later. The party itself has been related most often to Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany and Joseph Stalin's Soviet Union. While both bear their similarities, the main difference is the party's complete and utter control over not only what their people do, but what they think as well. The theme of control is the most prevalent and most important message reflected in 1984, and it is shown throughout the book in a variety of ways. The first way that the party's control is expressed is also the most obvious. When people think about the world of 1984, they picture surveillance cameras, government spying, and posters showing the deified leader of the party, known as Big Brother. In the book, the party uses telescreens to broadcast messages as well as spy and listen in its citizens' households. Everything someone does in the world can be tracked and analyzed, and anything considered to be abnormal or unorthodox can result in a person's imprisonment, torture, and death. Even the citizens' children are trained to spy on their parents and report them if they notice unorthodox behavior. In this world, there is no such thing as privacy. Another way that the party controls its citizens is through the use of newspeak. Newspeak is a language based off English that the party has created for the purpose of limiting the citizens' ability to formulate and pass on ideas unless they follow the party doctrine. This is done by removing any words deemed unnecessary, making each word have only one meaning, and simplifying sentence structure to the point where there are no separate parts of speech. Newspeak is used only for official communications and the like, but it is expected to be the complete language in use by 2050, according to party officials. Once this happens, the party believes that there will be no possibility of thought crime, because people will simply be unable to formulate ideas unless the party wants them to. Orwell's portrayal of this as a method of control was revolutionary, but it was something that he believed could very well happen. Thought crime is the main point by which the party differs from any government we have ever seen, because even the most totalitarian and autocratic regimes in world history have only ever been able to control what a person does and punish them for it. However, Oceania's party goes so far as to punish its citizens for unorthodox thoughts, called thought crime. Using their various methods of surveillance, citizens can be singled out and punished for anything that even suggests a possibility of unorthodox behavior. Talking in one's sleep, glancing around nervously, or doing anything that is seen as abnormal is grounds for imprisonment and termination. Winston attempts to fight against the party's control, but it seems that almost everyone is unconcerned about their state of life, and are content to let the party do as it wishes. They have been trained to unthinkingly accept the party's lies as truth, and its paradoxes as orthodoxies, which leads us to the most dominant motif in the book, doublethink. Doublethink is the newspeak word for a person's ability to hold two completely contradictory ideas as both being true. For example, in one part of the narrative, the party proclaims that they are at war with Eurasia, and that they have always been at war with Eurasia. The people accept this as being true, even though they were at war with East Asia just yesterday. One of the most symbolic representations of doublethink is that of the four ministries. These are the Ministry of Truth, where Winston works, the Ministry of Love, which handles torture and public order, the Ministry of Peace, which is in charge of war, and the Ministry of Plenty, which is responsible for food and resource distribution. All of these are the opposite of what they claim to be, though this is all accepted because of the doctrine of doublethink. The party is able to do this because of their complete control over information, and also because of their belief that to a person, nothing exists outside of their mind. So if you control their mind, then you control everything to them. The most powerful application of doublethink comes at the end of the book. Winston has been apprehended and tortured by the Ministry of Love, and in the end they express their control over him not by killing him, but by making him agree with them. Winston is released back into the city, but now he accepts the contradictions of party policy, not by force, but by his own free will, and that is the most frightening application of all.